Hello and welcome to my show. Today's topic is code talkers, and not just any code talkers. Today we'll be focusing on having a fireball dragon and a Trigate wizard on the board. So usually people choose to ignore this card because, well, it's pretty hard to have it on the board and have it like an optimal way to play it, but it does have a culling effect that it gets to negate something and banish it. And for me and many others, that sounds really good. And today I'll be showing you how to make a kind of okay deck that can utilize Trigate to his maximum potential. So let's get right into it. We'll be on 3 Lady Debug. So there's really no reason to play any less of this card, because for us it's like Elemental Hero Stratos. You just want to have it. It's great. Play it. Next up, 3 Code Generator. It's a hand link. It can be used as link material from the hand. It's amazing. No other deck does that. And when it's used as hand link material, you get to send something from the deck to the graveyard. We'll get to what you can send soon. Next up, 3 Microcoder. This is your go-to cybermonster with Lady Debug. It searches you any signed spell or trap card, and believe me, it's really good what you can search with it. So just play it. It's an amazing card, and probably the only reason why code talkers can keep up with the current decks. Next up, 1 Code Radiator. It's the most expensive one of the hand links, but in my opinion not the best. It gets to negate 1 monster effect after being used as link material, and then makes the attack 0. So why not? It's just another hand link material, so in total I have 7 of those. I've been thinking maybe bumping this one up to 3 as well, but in that case I'd lose a lot of utility from my other cards, and also this relies on me summoning code talkers, and well, in a code talker deck you want to be summoning some other monsters as well sometimes. So next up, 3 Nightmare Corruptor Iblis, Miss Floodgate, and the way you get to defeat your enemy and have them cry and in a corner after they realize that you extra linked them and they can only link summon. I love to do this. It's the best thing. Sometimes even having this and Rivalry of the Warlords on the field is enough to defeat some decks. Play it at 3. I recommend it a lot. So next up, Chiriat Ignister. Just another extender. You negate a monster effect and get to special summon it, and after it leaves the field you may get to make 1 monster unaffected. That's the way you get to protect your Fireball Dragon during the combo. Next up, 2 Parallel Exceed. 3 is great, 2 is the way to go in this deck. You won't be like super sad if you see 1 of them, but seeing 2 in the hand probably means that it's not the greatest starting hand, and you get to search it off the Code Talker spell Signet Codec, or another monster gets to search it for you. Next up, Cyber's Gadget, great The monster leaves a token behind, sometimes revives something from the graveyard. Doesn't come up for me a lot. Mathmex Sigma, you get to discard it for Silent Mining maybe, and then get to revive it. Has come up clutch quite a lot for me. You sometimes forget it that's in your graveyard, but that's the best time to use it. Cyber's Converter. For me, I chose this one over Backup Secretary because it's a level 2 and, well, Talkback Lancer needs a level 2 or lower, and, well, I'd rather play something that does the same thing as Backup Secretary and also fits my build. Next up, Link Infraflyer. That's just in case you draw Parallel Exceed in your starting hand and Codec needs to search something that's Wind. Also, it's a great extender for if you Link Summon. Format Skipper. Great monster overall. After it gets sent to the graveyard, you get to search a high level Cyber's monster. And, well, we play 2 different types, so it's really good to have. Next up, Doscaper. Go to the graveyard. Boop, 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 boop. It's back. What? Once per duel only, for some reason. I mean, I get it. It's that would be busted to have something just keep repeatedly coming back. That's just ridiculous. But hey, they printed Sword Soul, so don't tell me about balance. Next up, oh, speaking of balance, you ever have wanted to like +6 potentially? Well, this is the way to go. Every time you summon a Code Talker, search the Cyber's monster with the correct attribute. This is the way that Code Talkers can play. Probably right now, not in the future with Heat Soul. Heat Soul is just gonna look at this card, throw it away, and proceed to pay 1000 and draw 1 card. Next up, 3 Silent Mining. 3 is the correct number here. Probably not in the future when you're gonna be playing Imperial Order with your Heat Soul, but right now, why not play 3? You're playing a Cyber's deck, you want to search your cards. Next up, Silent Optimization for a second normal summon and making your Code Talkers basically Ancient Gear monsters for the battle phase. Silent Conflict, a great Omni Negate. And Salamangreat Sanctuary. This helps you evilly lock your opponent, and, well, it's a great 40th card. 1 for 1, a Monster Reborn, Called by the Grave, the 3 generic spell cards. For searching, for extending, for Droll and Cockbird. That bastard. And then we'll get to the hand traps. I run 3 Veiler for, well, my local meta just has a lot of normal summon effects, so using it on those really helps out. And then Ash Blossom, because Ash Blossom. And, well, that's the main deck. 40 cards. Really great. Must recommend for the extra deck. For the Link ones, a Talkback Lancer to revive your Code Talkers during the combo. 2 Bailings, great for your Cyber's Link ones. You could switch one out for a Lingo Revo, but I wouldn't recommend because having 2 helps protect the one that finally ends up on the end board. So yeah, Lingo Revo didn't make the cut this time. This is the way you actually make this whole combo work, Security Guard now, because it has the arrow pointing to the right. So that's great. Also, it protects you from OTKs potentially. Never came up for me though. The effect didn't came after me. The monster is necessary. Link Devotee helps you extend your combos with the 2 tokens. So you want to make sure this comes out during the end of your combo so you wouldn't lock yourself too early into Link 2s. Next up, 2 Code Talkers. You need 2 for this combo. A lot of people usually play only 1, but in this combo you're gonna turn 1, use both of them. They're gonna be on the board on the same time, so keep that in mind. The Inverted, the Splash Mage, 2 great Link 1s for you. One that helps you extend and the other is for the combo. It summons a Cybers monster from your hand. For example, the Format Skipper during the combo. Because it's a light type and Signet Codec is gonna search you the Format Skipper, and that's... I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna display the combo to you later. 2 Transcode Talker, they're playing a Cybers deck. Why would you play any less? This is a great monster to have. The Xcode Talker, to search wins. You could play Shooting Code here, but that's on you if you can't search Parallel Exceed. Then the centerpiece of this whole deck, the Trigate Wizard. Double battle damage, banishing, negates. That's amazing. It's a shame that it's not better. Then maybe it would be seen more often. And then my 2 Link 4s, Avermax and Firewall. This was the first Link monster I pulled from a booster when I got into YuGiOh back in 2018. So that's one of the reasons I keep running it. Also, I can't get my hands on Access Code Talker, so that's that as well. So that's the extra deck as a whole. But that's pretty much how the list looks. Now let's get into some combos. So let's do the combo again, just this time with explanations. You have a Lady Debug, a Cybers Converter and 3 random cards in your hand. Let's normal summon the Lady Debug. Effect. Add a monster to your hand. A Cybers type. What could it be? What could it be? It could be anything. No, it couldn't not be. It's the Microcoder. Of course you're gonna get the Microcoder as the Code Talker player, because you are unoriginal. And you get to use it from the hand as a link material. Go for the Code Talker. And trigger the effect of Microcoder to get a silent spell or trap card to your hand. If you already have it in hand, you can get the trap card, but since we have 3 random cards that we cannot use, it's gonna be the Signet Codec. I love this card. Now, activate it. Special summon your extender of choice. And go for a Link summon. Link 3, Transcode Talker. Since you summoned a Code Talker, you get to search its attribute monster from your deck. Since Transcode Talker is an Earth, you get the Earth type monster. Such as the Code Generator. Add it to your hand. Transcode Talker's effect allows you to bring back a Cybers Link monster into its zone. Next up, Link Summon. Another Code Talker. This gets to trigger some more effects. So, for example, the Generator gets to send a Cybers monster from your deck to the graveyard, and now you also get to search the Dark type monster. The Dark monster being the Ibli, and the one that you sent to the graveyard. Where is it? Oh, here he is, Thoughtscaper. Now, you have this guy in hand, and this guy, since it got sent to the graveyard, once we're done, revive it. Next up, link those two together. For Code Talker inverted. Usually, you need to make sure that you have a Cybers monster in hand. So you get to use this as chain link 1 and this as chain link 2. So this summons a Cybers monster from your hand, but since your hand is a secret, you get to maybe add something else later and then slap it on the field. So let's search its attribute, which is light. Let's add one of my favorite Cybers monsters, the Format Skipper. It's a great card. I played a lot in some other decks. And then you summon it. Next, link these two together for Code Talker. Woo, the Madman. Well, usually you'd get to lock some monster zones on your opponent's side if there are any monsters in these two zones, but unlucky, we didn't have anything here. Now we get to search a wind attribute monster and also a high level Cybers monster. So let's get the high level Kachiria Decklist and the wind attribute Parallel Exceed. Next up, Kachiria Decklist gets to summon itself after we negate the effects of one of these monsters. Could be either of those, doesn't really matter. Link them together for the Firewall Dragon. Now you get to trigger some effects again. Now, since this got sent to the graveyard, you can make one monster unaffected on your opponent's turn. Of course we're gonna choose this guy, he's amazing. He gets to look at your opponent's monster on the field and then throw it back into their hand. But now, since we have a link monster pointing here, we can special summon the Parallel Exceed into its zone. And then summon a copy. There is a political statement in there somewhere. Now, let's link summon with these two. 2 + 1 = 3. The Trigate Wizard. Now, since Firewall Dragon feels lonely because his friend from his arrow zone left the field, we get to summon this Ibli in here. And then link it away for the Talkback Lancer. Now, since Ibli got sent to the graveyard, it summons itself to the opponent's side of the field, locking them into link summoning. Next, we're gonna use this Parallel Exceed for the link summon of a Link Devotee. So on summon, this is gonna lock us into link 2s and lower, so you need to make sure you have a Trigate Wizard and a Firewall out by this point. Next, Talkback Lancer gets to tribute the monster to revive a Code Talker in the graveyard. Usually it revives Transcode Talker, wherever he is, but since we need something pointing here to call link, we get the Xcode. Now, since Link Devotee got tributed, which is a very specific effect, we get 2 tokens. Ta-da! So we're gonna use one token for the link summon for Baylings. Baylings effect, it searches us a field spell. And not just any field spell. Yeah, baby, it's gonna be the Solomon Great Sanctuary. And you're gonna activate it. Next, we're gonna use the last token for the link summon of another Baylings. And then Baylings turns into security guard now, completing the 3 callings of Trigate Wizard, giving it the ability to negate. And what you have here is a board where your opponent can only link summon, but they can't since you filled up the space. If they want to attack you, you can turn your monster's attack into 0, and since Iblis' attack is also 0, nothing happens and you'll get to kill them on the next turn. And if you need to, you can banish something, whatever they get to set. And yeah, you still have 3 cards in your hand. These could be anything, your hand traps, more extenders, search cards, maybe even a Rivalry of the Warlords. That's up to you. And yeah, this is pretty much the combo. A good normal summon, a search, and an extender is all you need to reach this powerhouse of a board. Take care.